In this installment of our video travelogue, we sailed west from the North Sea and into the Baltic Sea. We had 11 ports of call, stretching from the picturesque port of Honfleur on the northeast coast of France to the medieval capital of Estonia, Tallinn. We saw many beautiful and impressive sights along the way, but far too many to cover adequately in this short video. So we'll just limit ourselves to a few highlights, and we'll begin in a castle in Denmark. Northeast of the port of Aarhus is the oldest family-owned castle in Denmark, Rosenholm Castle, built in the 16th century. Now, you might wonder what this castle has to do with this fellow. Well, in the early 17th century, he wrote a play about the Prince of Denmark, a fellow you may recall named Hamlet. And you might also recall that Hamlet had a good friend named Rosencrantz. It turns out that the characters in the Bard's play were based on real people of the time, and this castle was built by the wealthy nobleman Jørgen Rosencrantz. A fellow by the name of Frederick was his nephew and might have actually known Shakespeare, and he is believed to be the inspiration for the Bard's character. Incidentally, his mother was Karen Guildenstern, which made the two characters in the play cousins. It's an impressive and beautiful home, and it seems like the memory of the troubled prince Hamlet still haunts the place.
Sailing to the northeast, we visited Sweden's very beautiful capital, Stockholm. And here we will visit 3 memorable places. We'll begin in the middle of the 17th century, when Sweden was one of the most powerful maritime powers in Northern Europe. As an impressive and flamboyant display of his power, the king, Gustavus Adolphus, ordered the building of the world's largest warship, the Vasa. Amazingly, she was built in only 3 years and was adorned with many beautiful and intricate carvings. And to please the king, she had a double deck of 64 bronze cannons. The Vasa is today housed in Stockholm in a beautiful seaside museum. On her triumphal and ceremonial maiden voyage, the king ordered that all of her gun ports be open for a series of celebratory salutes. But all was not right. Vasa was top-heavy, and shortly after sailing past the king's palace, a gust of wind tipped the ship to port. Seawater rushed into the open gun ports, some of which were only a few feet above waterline. As the ship heeled more, water began pouring into more open gun ports, filling the ship too rapidly, and the Vasa sank within minutes, in front of the now stunned crowd. Vasa only sailed about 1,300 meters, or 0.8 of a mile. The wreck was raised in 1961, and as you can see, she is in remarkably good condition, thanks to the cold Baltic Sea, which lacks shipworms who normally eat wood. There were about 250 people on board when she sank, and about 30 people lost their lives.
Moving on to a more modern and much happier event, we visited Sweden's royal palace, the official residence of King Carl XVI Gustaf and Queen Sylvia. In the palace, we visited the royal apartments, where there is a current exhibit celebrating the 50th wedding anniversary of the king and queen. Their relationship began in 1972, when he was then the crown prince and she was a hostess and interpreter at the 1972 Olympic Games in Munich. Prince Carl Gustaf spotted Sylvia across a room, and the magic happened. Sylvia was born in Heidelberg of a German father and a Brazilian mother. But despite the fact that she was not of noble blood, the handsome prince was smitten by the beautiful 28-year-old. So he asked her out on a date. And 4 years later, they were married. They have 3 children. Their first child, Victoria, is the crown princess.
Speaking of celebrating, our third stop in Stockholm was a repeat visit to a unique and very appropriate place on an Arctic cruise, the Ice Bar. Located inside a specially refrigerated room in a downtown hotel, the Ice Bar is a truly special place to visit. The room is kept at a constant temperature of -6 degrees Celsius or 21 degrees Fahrenheit. Parkas and gloves are provided to all guests. Everything inside is made out of hand-carved ice and snow, from the walls and the decor to the cocktail glasses themselves. And every spring, it is reconstructed by skilled carvers with fresh ice and a new theme. This year's theme is a journey through Norse mythology. It's been 14 years since we last visited this ice bar, and it's just as cool now as it was then. And what do they serve in Stockholm's ice bar? A very famous local vodka, which you probably know. It's called Absolute. Perfect for any king and queen.
Well, it's time to bring this episode to a close. And as we do, we'll leave you with a few memorable scenes of our sail away from Helsinki, Finland, on the evening of August 12th.
As the sun was setting over the Baltic Sea, we were treated to a beautiful solar eclipse covering 83% of the sun's diameter.
It was heavenly.
We'll see you all again now in Norway.
Ciao.